Coming up on The Charge on Air. After 3 days of voting, the student body presidential elections have come down to a runoff vote. Who will take home the title?
How park ranger layoffs are affecting parks nationwide and in Florida.
And a recent study shows tourists love Florida, but aren't the biggest fans of Orlando.
And in sports, the fall of UCF men's basketball and who boxed them out of the Big 12 tournament.
The Charge on Air starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to The Charge on Air. I'm Zion Joyner.
And I'm Nolan Bottomley. Today is Friday, March 14th, 2025.
After 3 days of voting, UCF student body presidential race for the 25-26 school year boiled down to two candidates. Charge on Air reporter Casey Stone tells us more about Wednesday's eventful evening.
Candidates running for UCF's 2025-2026 student body president and vice presidential positions held their breath Wednesday evening as the final votes rolled in. After 5 campaigns from different candidates advocating for various initiatives, it was announced that the presidential election would continue in a runoff between Blanco Benitez and Graus Al-Saad due to neither party obtaining the required 50% majority vote. Out of the 5,800 votes, Blanco Benitez held 46.1% of the ballots, while Graus Al-Saad held 21.8%. Graus, who's gained a reputation on campus for his penguin therapy, says he feels good about continuing the fight.
So with the other candidates, I'm very thankful for the competition. I was very happy that we were able to bring this much recognition.
Blanco and Benitez shared a similar sentiment, saying that even though they wanted to know they would be UCF's next leaders, they want to thank the student body for their support and passion.
But seriously, standing there with the support of all of our friends, I could cry about it, feeling the love and just knowing that we put so much work in these past 3 days and we're gonna do it again, because that's how much these people believe in us, and that's how much I believe in Jarib and our platform and everything that we've worked for, and clearly the students believe in it too.
As student body president, the student will represent more than 68,000 students, allocating the university's $20 million activity and service fee budget, as well as being the only student on UCF's board of trustees. But one candidate's race was cut unexpectedly short when it was announced that he and his running mate had been disqualified. Lester Tellez and Andrew Terrados received news of their disqualification just 1 day before the results were to be announced. The Election Commission ruled that the pair had multiple Tier 4 violations, including 606.4F, committing or attempting a bribe.
They weren't necessarily, I think, fair in my opinion. I think that a lot of them were stretches to try to get me disqualified from the ballot.
The disqualification was finalized after Tellez's appeal was denied by the Judicial Council. But even with one less ticket, student government says it's a step up from last year, which only had one presidential candidate. The runoff election will continue after spring break, when students will have 3 days to cast their vote for Blanco Benitez or Graus Al-Saad. Reporting in Orlando, Casey Stone, The Charge on Air.
All of this year's candidates want to thank the students who took the time to vote to make their voices heard.
Last month, dozens of parks employees all over the nation were fired. Past and future park rangers in Florida told The Charge about their experiences.
My name is Briar River, and I was a park ranger visitor services specialist at the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge Complex. For Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge Complex, we have 5 refuges covering over 32,000 acres. I had just finished the second and last big 120 kids field trip. I was really feeling good about my performance at work. Thursday night, I saw on the news that OPM, Office of Personnel Management, had fired all of their probationary employees and was giving a soft guidance to all agencies to do the same thing. On Friday, February 14th, I got an email titled Update for Probationary Employees Meeting. I saw that and I went, all right, I'm probably fired. So I came out here and sat on the dock and just kind of had a breather. I knew it was coming, but I just needed a moment. We went back inside after this, after being out here and just taking a breather, and it was a nationwide meeting with all U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service employees. There's 420 of us on this call. We were told it was not performance-based. We were told it was not our fault. Unfortunately, effective end of day, February 14th, that day, we were released from our positions. So that was a tough pill to swallow. It was a lot that day.
So my name is Nicole Boyson. I graduated in May. Do I want to be a park ranger? Like, that's kind of always a question, I think, when it comes to environmentalists or biologists. It's a really scary time right now to be a recent grad and to be graduating very soon with a degree like ours. There's a lot of people speaking out, and there's a lot of people going to protest, and there's a lot of people that are showing right now the federal government that this is not okay, and I'm really hopeful that something good will come out of this.
Everybody's stretched thin here in Florida, and this termination of all probationary employees who just started their jobs, it's not helping. Be mindful of your impact, and please give the employees who are left some grace. They need your support now more than ever.
While the Trump administration has since restored jobs to dozens of National Park Service employees, River and Boyson are still without one.
A bill to crack down on pronouns has just been introduced, which could stir up major controversy in the LGBTQ+ community. I had the chance to learn more about this topic and how UCF students could be affected. According to the National Library of Medicine, personal identity encompasses general beliefs about one's values, aspirations, and goals. And for many, this includes aligning with a gender that best reflects their true selves. Local lawmakers have introduced a Florida House bill that prohibits certain employers from requiring employees to use pronouns that do not correspond to the employee's gender. This bill also requires employers to allow the expression of biblical beliefs relating to sexuality. John Hanley, UCF political science professor, says this is a constitutional problem.
You're stacking the deck in favor of those traditional views or views that align with the person's gender at birth, right? So that would be, I think, problematic in the courts.
Activists are already gearing up to fight this bill and several other proposals this legislative session, as members of the LGBTQ community voice deep concerns about the potential harm this bill could cause. The American Civil Liberties Union of Florida stated that these types of bills makes it harder for Floridians to thrive in state and local employment. Carla Lozano is a UCF student and a member of the LGBTQ+ community. She says she strongly disagrees with the proposal.
Well, first off, I do identify as non-binary and do use they, them pronouns. So I feel like this bill is just about disrespect, and it's disrespecting the comfort of people who identify as queer.
The bill is now in the Government Operations Subcommittee, and if passed, will go into effect on July 1st, 2025. In Orlando, Zion Joyner, The Charge on Air. The bill is titled Freedom of Conscience in the Workplace Act, and you can find the full bill text on the Florida Senate website.
All this talk about national parks has me wanting to stop by Lake Claire.
Right? I just hope the weather is good enough.
Well, lucky for us, our meteorologist Jana Manohalal is live at Lake Claire with our current conditions. Jana?
Thanks, guys. I mean, Nolan's got on that blue tie. I've got on this blue dress because we're looking at blue skies for Central Florida. Our temperature right now is sitting at about 77 degrees with a humidity of 72. And let's talk about that wind really quickly. We're seeing a steady 5 miles an hour wind right now, with those gusts picking up to about 13 miles an hour. But of course, we'll bring you more weather information later in the show. But for now, I'm going to send it right back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jana. Coming up, why some tourists love to spend spring break in Florida, but not Orlando.
Plus, how spring breakers are costing Florida clean coasts. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and If you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Following the case of a missing college student out in the Dominican Republic, 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student Sookdeo Konanki has been reported missing for over a week now. The student traveled to the Dominican Republic with 5 classmates, planning to stay at the Rio Republica Hotel. Initial reports from Dominican police tell us that the girls were on the beach when a group of them decided to leave, leaving Konanki behind with a man who is now identified as Joshua Ribe. But new surveillance footage shows a group of girls with 2 men walking within the resort around 4:15 a.m. We then see your 2 friends walk back to the resort without Konanki, and later that morning we see Ribe return alone. Delonis Sweeney was at the resort at the same time and recounts her experience.
In the moment, it made me feel scared because talking about it, we just thought like that could have been us.
Konanki's family is asking for privacy, but are urging officials to look into a possible kidnapping. The charge reached out to the University of Pittsburgh and received a statement reading, "University officials are in contact with Sookdeo Konanki's family as well as authorities in Loudoun County, Virginia, and we have offered our full support in their efforts to find her and bring her home safely. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office at 703-777-1021.
According to Orlando Economic Partnership, tourism is the #1 employer in Orange County and it's one of the main industries driving our state's economy. But one category of Orlando visitors are starting to turn away. Charge on Air reporter Emily Ching tells us more.
With spring break right around the corner, Floridians are used to seeing an influx of tourists every year. But here in Orlando, that might not be true. A recent report from Radical Storage ranked Orlando among the top 5 most underwhelming tourist cities. The study gathered a small sample of Google reviews written by international visitors. As of 2023, international visitors only make up 8% of Orlando's tourists, while the remaining 67 million are domestic. But people like Orange County Commissioner Kelly Semrad say that this statistic shouldn't be overlooked.
When you start to hear about somebody being dissatisfied, if that has something to do with, for example, our traffic, does it have something to do with feeling safe? From an elected official's perspective, where you consider all of the destination features, it's interesting, and I think that we should do further investigation just to make sure that we keep our tourism industry strong, because our local economy is dependent on it.
1 out of 20 global reviews in the analysis in 2022 mentioned being disappointed or having a terrible experience. And in this year, Orlando was noted as just being bad. Some of those reasons were due to tourists saying that they were ripped off or scammed. A recent NerdWallet analysis found that a week-long stay at a theme park for a family of 4 can run close to $6,000. But Semrat says that traveling doesn't have to be so costly, and there are a lot of local and affordable activities to do instead. Anastasia Allgaier is a 5th-year hospitality management major at UCF. She feels confident in offering tourists a good experience, except for one thing.
I feel like the only problem that I come across that's really hard is navigating the city and explaining that to somebody who doesn't know anything about Orlando and telling them that they're probably going to have to pay for Ubers or buy a rental car. Our infrastructure doesn't really support the amount of influx tourism we get, especially during tourism season, which is summer and spring.
For international visitors to see the city beautiful from our lens, we must see it from theirs, because their experiences ultimately determine if they'll return again. In Orlando, Emily Ching, The Charge on Air.
To look at more Orlando tourism numbers, go to visitorlando.org.
Spring break brings lots of positives, but also negatives to the Sunshine State. I got the chance to dig up some debris about the week-long break. Florida is a hot spot for spring breakers because of the Sunshine State's many beaches. And while the state is known for its tourism, one issue seems to persist with locals every year: beach pollution. According to Statista, Florida accumulates tens of thousands of trash items on its beaches, from plastic bottle caps to cigarette butts. Caleb Smallwood is a Florida coastal native who runs an umbrella rental company on Cocoa Beach. He says that despite local cleaning efforts, it just isn't enough during busy seasons.
All these trash cans are overflowed. Even the beach is completely filled with trash. Under the sand, there's trash everywhere. There's only so much that these people are able to do because people just litter every single day.
Millions of visitors flock to Florida's beaches every spring break, and with a view like this, you really can't blame them. But when garbage starts to get in the mix, that's when things can get a little messy.
Last year, spring breakers in Boca Raton were caught dumping garbage into the ocean while on a boat. And according to biologicaldiversity.org, it's actions like this that directly impact ocean wildlife, killing thousands of seabirds, sea turtles, and other marine animals every year. Ashton Sarlo is a UCF student and St. Petersburg native. Living close to the beach his whole life, he says people just don't seem to care.
It's going to have so much ramifications on the wildlife because, you know, if we found one person doing it, there's probably 10 or more groups of people who are dumping trash in the ocean that we don't find. You know, how much trash is going into the ocean just because people don't care?
As spring breakers continue to leave their mark on the beaches, the environmental impact serves as a reminder that protecting our shores are just as important as enjoying them. In Orlando, Nolan Bottomley, The Charge on Air. UCF's Outdoor Adventure is planning a beach cleanup trip on Sunday, March 30th. More information can be found on the RWC's website.
As we get through the end of this week and into spring break, we're finally starting to see that classic Florida heat.
And how UCF women's basketball team tamed the BYU Cougars at this year's Big 12 tournament. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go.
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. Yeah! Oh, I thought you were on my team.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. what to do with hot coals, how to secure your chains, but I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's time to check in with student meteorologist Courtney Fowler from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a look at the national forecast.
The Climate Prediction Center is showing La Nina conditions written all over the temperature and precipitation outlooks for the next 3 months. Here in the southern tier of the United States, the temperatures are going to be above average. Now, however, in the Pacific Northwest, the temperatures are going to be below average in the next 3 months. Moving into a precipitation outlook, the Great Lakes are set to receive higher than normal precipitation values for the next 3 months. Additionally, the Pacific Northwest is going to experience the same thing. However, in contrast, in our deserty region of the United States, it's going to be drier than normal. And also, our Sunshine State is also going to be drier than normal for the next 3 months. Now, the Climate Prediction Center has us moving into a neutral El Nino as we approach hurricane season, which is June through November. We don't really know what this means, but stay tuned to your local news station for more information. Here are the Atlantic hurricane names for the 2025 season. And with that, back to you, UCF, for more information on local weather in our beautiful Sunshine State of Florida.
Thanks, Courtney.
Now let's check in with Jaina Manohalal for our weekly weather update.
Thanks, guys. We're going to go ahead and look at your current statewide temperatures right now, and they are popular. I mean, we're sitting at about a mid 70 degree temperature this entire day, and we're looking at great weather all day long, especially for that Crew 10 launch later tonight at about 7:08. So if you are interested in that, head on down to the Space Coast. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at your 5-day forecast right now. I'm going to step off screen so that you can see that. Saturday's looking like a beautiful day with a high of 86. Sunday, though, we're going to look at winds defying gravity with a 25% chance of rain from about 2 to 5 p.m. So hold on to those umbrellas. Monday through Wednesday, again, we're hitting that mid to high 70 range with Wednesday with a high of 81 degrees. Of course, that's all we have for now, but we're looking forward to a great spring break for all of you. Bye, guys, and have a great day.
Thanks, Jaina. Men's basketball season has come to a close after they got boxed out of the Big 12 tournament last week.
Plus, men's basketball fouling out of the Big 12 tournament against the Kansas Jayhawks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
I look nice, don't I?
I see you.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Let's go.
Oh, man, that's the best one yet. Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one.
High school. Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Do you want to talk about what happened earlier?
Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age. Some others don't.
shoot. How crazy it is at UCF right now.
Welcome back to The Charge on Air. I'm Courtney McLean. Let's jump into sports. Late last week, the UCF women's basketball team took its shot at the Big 12 tournament. The Knights tamed the BYU Cougars in the first round with a score of 81-69. The win was a team effort with 4 Knights scoring in double figures, but guard Caitlin Peterson dropped 35. Head coach Satia Messer spoke about Peterson's impact on the game.
She and I, at breakfast, I knew she was ready. I reached over to get some salt to put on my omelet. And she said, Coach, you don't need any salt. I said, for 3 years, I've been eating it. Now you tell me I don't need it. But I could tell that her mindset was ready.
Despite the first round dominance, UCF suffered a second round loss to number 20, Kansas State, with a final score of 80-65. UCF women's basketball ends its 2025 regular season with a record of 12-18. Sticking to hoops, let's take a look at the men's basketball team's Big 12 tournament run. Like the ladies, the gentlemen took care of business in round 1, defeating Utah 87-72 on Tuesday. UCF was down by 1 at halftime, but a 24-3 surge after the break boosted the Knights to victory. Head coach Johnny Dawkins spoke about what he saw in that incredible second half run.
Well, I think it was a few things. I thought we had to make some adjustments defensively. I thought our staff did a great job of, discussing that at halftime, some things we need to look at doing. And I thought that was really good for us. And then our offense was just very efficient. I thought our guys started finding, where they could be successful within the offense. We talked about that again at halftime.
As the Jayhawks were 9.5-point favorites. Despite the valiant effort, UCF's 2025 season ends with a record of 17-16. That's all the sports updates I've got for you today. Now get back to my friends at the desk.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, thechargenews.com, and our Instagram at thechargenews.
Have a great spring break and stay safe. We'll be back March 24th with our Charge on Air webcast. Thanks for watching, have a good day, and now we'll leave you with a live shot of downtown Orlando.